Welcome back to I'm Still Here. I'm Larry.
And I'm Heather. In 1998, at the age of 26, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. It changed everything for us, but I'm still here. And we're here. I feel like it's been a little bit since we've been hanging out talking.
Has it?
Have you missed me? Have you missed it?
I do see my wife other than this.
No,
so
I don't mean
know what she's talking about.
I'm talking about like being like actually
on
doing
the podcast
episodes. Yeah.
I don't know. Has it been? Yes. Yes. It has been a long time.
Well, and also we've done a few via Zoom, so not in the same room. So
right.
That changes things a little bit. But how's it going?
Good.
Good. What have you been, what's new?
Just spring football.
Okay.
Doing that. Both. So just getting back into the swing of that. Coaching baseball. Yeah.
Really felt like spring this week. We got some really nice temperatures, and today we're back to like, I mean, I think it's still warm out, but it's definitely cloudy. So.
And it's an unusual spring. We don't usually, summer doesn't actually get to us until June every year.
Yeah.
It teases us a little, but we had a summer weekend, and that was our
really kind of week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
So that kind of feeds into what I thought we would talk about today is about consistency and being consistent. I know for me, I like change. I like things to keep changing, and I like to change things up quite often. But I've come to realize that when it comes to like health and I don't want to say fitness, but just trying to reach goals overall, that I think consistency is key, right?
Mm-hmm. It's hard too.
And it's really hard. It's one of those things that it's if it's just because it's simple, it doesn't mean it's easy, right? Mm-hmm. So
it's literally the reason why we have coaches.
Yeah.
It's the reason.
Okay.
Because if we could just do it on our own and we, life gets in the way and we don't want to necessarily always do hard things and inconvenient things and all of this. Well, when you have somebody encouraging or facilitating those things, we tend to be successful with it. And that's what we tend to not have coaches after we get older.
It's so true.
We need a different accountability.
Yeah. And coaching, I mean, I guess when I think of that, I was actually thinking about this for cancer too, kind of putting together that plan, and what are you going to do every day and how are you going to kind of, feel like you're making an impact or that you are making an impact throughout your treatment. And so I think it does start by kind of making a plan, right? And then, and I think we are often so optimistic when we make those plans and we put in so many things, right? Yeah. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to visualize. I'm going to eat great. I'm going to work out. I'm going to write all of these things. And
then life happens.
And then, and we're tired and we've got other things going on. And, so small changes over time.
I would highly recommend that, for sure, small changes over time. I mean, not only just small changes, it's small changes and have success with that change. Build on that change to improve just that one category, then add new.
Yeah.
Start out small. Grow that, then add new. Start out small. Grow that, then add new. I think that's where, because, we've all talked about, it takes a long time. People have put different hours or minutes or whatever on how long does it take for something to become a habit.
Yeah, and I think some of that's also based on how hard it is to do too.
Yeah,
right. Like
I can watch TV. I have watching TV is a habit. That's pretty easy to do.
Good at that one.
Right. So but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's harder in the beginning.
Well, so this is the other. I mean, so you make a plan, but then you have to work a plan, right? You have to, and I think, I mean, I don't know if to categorize Americans, and maybe it's people in general,
It's
but
human beings.
we want success immediately. We want to see results. We want to know it's working. All of these things, that just really. I think the way a lot of times we go about this, and for me, I think about like weight loss. You want to see weight dropping right away, but if you're doing it in a way that's not sustainable, anyway, does that
All of us can lose weight really easy. Stop eating, and you will see success. But it's not sustainable. You're going to die. Right. It's those sustainable things that are, and that's where I think the plan comes in, in setting that plan up for long-term goals.
Right.
You've heard me say this before. You don't do it, but you've heard me say, throw your damn scale away.
Yeah.
You want the great scale? Use a mirror. The mirror in your pant size is what, and maybe shirt size, those kind of things, I believe are the best gauge or tool when it comes to your body. And I hate even using weight loss because I hope you're building muscle. I hope that, and in turn, that is long-term health. So, yeah, I think scale does nothing but discourages people. And I think you're maybe an exception because you understand this. But for the most part, people set these goals and they're getting on the scale every day. And after the 5th day and 6th day, they lost a pound on day 1. They lost a pound on day 2. They lost a pound on day 3. And they gained 4 pounds on day 4. And they're like, F this. I'm done. This is stupid. I told you I can't lose weight.
Yeah.
I did, I barely ate anything and throw the damn scale away.
So I think the only way, one of the things that I heard about the scale is that, like, you can't compare the scale 7 days in a row. You have to compare, like, say, January 1st to February 1st to March 1st.
And if you know that and understand that, then keep your scale.
Right. But most people don't. And and we all have differences in terms, again, we're like, when we look at weight loss, like my weight really will fluctuate 3 to 4 pounds sometimes in a day. So it's like, whoa, you think, oh, I'm doing great, but it's that trend overall for that. But it's the same thing. I mean, one of my friends, Christy, who's been on here before, when we were talking about just eating better, which I think, of course, when you're dealing with cancer, that's a great thing to do too. But we often approach it in terms of what we shouldn't have, or what we should take away. But maybe the best way to go about it is to add in fruits and vegetables. Like, don't right.
Eat what you should before what you want.
Right.
On every plate.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
If we all just did that, that would be way better.
Yeah. So I was thinking too, like, the more that you can kind of streamline things when you're trying to be consistent, the better. And it is sort of boring, right? Eat the same lunch. If it's a lunch that's working for you, just know that that's what you're going to do. Meal prep it, those kind of things. Set yourself up for success in terms of, quiet time, being able to kind of get alone with your thoughts. How can you do that when you have a family, or how can you do that? I feel like even the dogs, come and find me when I'm like sitting quietly.
For sure they do. Yeah. And one of the dang cats now.
Yeah.
Won't leave me alone.
So it's one of those things that is like, again, it can be done, but know that there's, when's the best chance for the least amount of interruptions, I guess, for things like that. And then I also think about just like trying to make the daily stuff as easy as possible, and then kind of using my energy for the biggest things. And one of the things I was thinking about this week was, like, I have been having so much trouble getting my medicine lately. It's a beta blocker, right? We have a prescription company that like you do the mail order thing or whatever. And I ordered it, and I did order it with only like 5 days left or whatever, which was my fault. But then they said, yep, first, of course, we have to get a new prescription from your doctor. It just feels like some of these things take so long. And then they did ship it out, and it's been sitting in New Jersey since March 24th. And for the longest time, they said, well, it says it's in transit. And so, the amount of time and energy it has taken me. So then I had to get an emergency refill, which was a big override, blah, blah, blah. And they would only give me 14 days, which again is going to be gone. I'm gonna run out of it again before I get it. And then they finally said, yeah, it's probably not coming. I'm like, probably I could have told you that when it was sitting in New Jersey before. So I just feel like sometimes we have to kind of save our energy for the things that we're gonna have to fight through, right? Or advocate for, and I'm sure it comes in different ways or whatever, but I don't know. I just think it's difficult. Ivy is being loud this morning, so. What's your just basic routine in terms of being consistent?
For me, it's focusing on two things right now. It's nutrition and exercise. Both of those, one of those, the exercise is important to me because I have to be in shape and look good to officiate.
Yeah.
And it's a necessary. It's if you aren't, you're not going to do that. So that's a must, which is nice for me because it gives me that reason, it gives me that purpose, that excuse, or whatever you want to say. It makes me do something that I don't want to do. I am on a treadmill, 4 days a week now, and I don't want to, but I do anyway, because of that. I had that goal. Yeah. The nutrition part, I've just, I don't know how long. Well, most of this year, actually.
Yeah.
I've tried to just eat healthier. So, what that means for me is I have a salad for lunch, and what it was prior to this is just a normal meal, a normal dinner, whatever that is. Really not with a lot of intense on I want it to be healthy. It was just, I did my healthy meal at lunch. I'm going to eat whatever I want at dinner. And that's now changing. I'm just, I'm learning more. And, which is probably not the best thing to say, seeing as how I'm a health teacher. But, there is new information and new studies. And it's just, there's more and more information that a plant-based diet is just healthier for you. Getting your proteins from plants. Overall, you almost can't, you can't argue it from a physiological standpoint that plant-based protein is accepted and used better in your body than the meat-based protein. And that hasn't been my whole life, but if that's the case and I can still be healthy or maybe even healthier or feel better. And for me, at my age, I do kind of pay for exercising hard, and I do exercise hard. I exercise hard for an hour each day, and in the weight room. So I've really, felt the effects of that and just like, woo, and I have to take a day off. So I've changed my diet up just this week, and I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to keep my exercise program the same. I'm going to change my diet, and I'm going to evaluate after 3 weeks, how do I feel? Comparatively, how do I feel? Because I'm not going to change that one variable at all, besides the normal thing that I change. But again, at my age, I've decided to do only a muscular endurance with a little bit of cardio exercise. That's what I do now. I don't do any muscular strength. I don't really stress my body with heavy weight or anything. And it's good for me. It makes me feel good. I think it's the healthiest way for, as we get older, to do things. So that's what I do.
But so that comes from being able, because you had been consistent for, 3 or 4 months, like we're in April now, in
On
terms
what?
of your diet had been really consistent,
Yeah.
right? So then again, you can add in a little bit of a change
Yep.
to amp it up a little bit, right? To take it to, okay, I'm going to do this now or
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
not a big foodie. I'm not
Yeah.
like, oh, I like food that tastes good, but I like being full.
Yeah.
I do like that. So I got to figure that out. And in
Yeah.
this plant based diet, and I will eat meat. I'm not opposed to that. And if we go out and there's something that catches my eye, I'm going to order that. And I think that is even a healthier mentality versus I can't.
Yeah, the all or nothing thing is really,
Yeah.
it catches people and it makes them feel, I think, I've talked to many women, especially when they're feeling like they should be making changes, especially nutritionally, when you're in treatment and you feel like crap anyway, and then you're trying to make changes. All these things are so hard, and then add to that whole I can't factor. It's terrible. It's too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's a lot easier to say, I'm not going to most of the time or whatever,
Sure.
but
And I'm
but nothing's
interested.
off the table.
Like after I do, go for 3 weeks a month and not having any, animal protein, I'm wondering how my body will feel when I do have a meal that's heavy animal protein.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet it's not going to feel the best.
Yeah, no, I think I've noticed that as I've kind of gotten back to a healthier diet in the last 3 to 4 months now, too, that when I do then go back to just kind of that, I don't know what to say, like burger and fry kind of meal, I kind of go, that doesn't make my stomach feel that great. Or, you know what I mean?
It
So,
tastes great though.
It does taste great.
And that's going to be hard for me because I do very rarely, but I do like going through the McDonald's drive-through and grabbing a meal whatever. I love the French fries and I love Coke and all of that. I do, but I know it's really not good for me and for long term. And I start thinking about this and the history and family and I do have some heart issues in my family and I'm like, well, I'm going to do everything I can um, for that not to happen to me.
Yeah,
We'll
but
see.
you're embracing it in a way of, it, again, just I'm going to do what I can for that,
Yeah.
but also not, I have to do this. This is,
No, a doctor
this
hasn't
feels
told me
so
this.
restrictive. You know
No.
what I mean?
No. Well, a
So,
doctor hasn't told me this because I haven't been to a doctor in a long time.
I did just a little. You have to go back once every 3 years to stay on the books, just so you
I'm
know.
out then.
Anyway,
I'm out.
again, healthcare in America is so hard to deal with. It's so, especially, I don't know. I know it's bad everywhere, but we live in a rural area. It took me a year to get a primary care physician, and I, now you have to keep up with them, but also it's hard to get in, and you don't want to just go for nothing. So those are tough things, but yeah. So I try to save my energy for dealing with healthcare. When I'm trying to stay consistent, there's a lot of different pieces to it. It's the food, it's the movement, it's all of those things, and I think we overthink things a lot too. I mean, I think in terms of
Or we just don't have the knowledge sometimes.
true, true, true. But
I mean,
yeah, that's no, you're right. But when I think about we think about exercise and people again. Well, what should I do? And I need to do something different every day. You know what? Walk. Go for a walk.
Yep.
Walk a little farther. Walk a little farther on the days you feel good. It's
and nail that.
Yeah.
Do that for a while.
Yeah.
Increase your walking. And that's what I was
Yeah.
saying about that is just walk.
yes.
Just walk each day and take a day off if you need
Yes.
to or a couple days, whatever you need, whatever that is. But do a little more the next week. Do a little more the next week. And then by usually like week 3, week 4, you're going to be feeling. Now add something.
Yeah.
When you come back from your walk, do some yoga.
Yeah.
When you come back from your walk,
Yeah.
see if you can do even some assisted push-ups or assisted sit-ups or modified.
Some squats. Do some squats.
Some chair dips
Yeah.
and you start out with 2. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
add that, but don't add anything more. And then master that and make that part of your routine and then add.
Yeah.
And that's what and you know what? And if you don't feel good about, I don't know, and this and that, hire a coach.
Yeah,
If you can afford
absolutely.
it, hire somebody. And this can be all virtually. And this doesn't even mean Zooms or anything like. They can just
Make a program.
and if they're good, they're going to understand what I'm talking about here and the slowly pushing into it and not. But they are, and again, if they're good, they're going to encourage you in the right ways and they're going to assist in all realms because fitness and nutrition are hand in hand. They go together. One without the other is almost a waste.
I was going to say,
You can afford
I
it.
mean, even with that, like, I mean, I think most everybody takes their phone with them on a walk, and your headphones, you can. Oh, you don't. Okay, you're the only one. But that's also a time for me to listen to something that's going to be empowering and you know, so there's walking visualizations, there's all that kind of stuff where you can really even, you know, I feel like a lot of times by using movement and kind of my mind at the same time, that's more effective than me kind of sitting down to do a meditation. So you really can, you know, kind of double up some of those things even and feel really good about them. And I think I find that I do tend to eat better when I have also been exercising. Like they do play off of each other.
100%.
So, you know, it's one of those things that like being consistent can be really difficult, but I just think we don't give ourselves enough time or we're not patient enough to really see results of being consistent, you know. And
I agree. And the other part of how important is it to you?
Yeah.
That does matter.
Sure.
And that is going to set the goal and it's going to help the accountability part. But it's got to be important to you. Just because somebody told you, just because you listened to some stupid podcast and they said that they found that this is important, this one you're listening to, that doesn't mean it's important to you. It's got to become important to you. Now, like a doctor might have said, hey, you better get off your butt and start eating right or this is not going to go well for you. Well, that can be the incentive to get you going. Or it can just be you looking in the mirror and just going, bleh, I got to do something. Well, then it can be, but just because somebody told you, you're not going to be successful doing this.
And if it's, you know, if time or energy are limited, do 5 minutes of something, do 10 minutes of something, you know, or do it multiple times.
Do something every commercial. Do we have commercials anymore?
I don't know. We try not to.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of ways to go about this, but I just, I believe that you can make a difference, you know, in your own, to give up is to say that you have no control, you know, and you do. I think we all do for, you know, no matter what we're going through, we have to look at what we can do, what we can make an impact on. And these small changes over time, they add up and they do make results. And not to go back to weight loss, but it's the easiest thing. But like, I didn't gain weight in a month. I can't expect to lose it all in a month either. And we tend to think that, right? Like
we want that.
The impacts that we've had, you know, over years, we're like, oh, but it should just come off the opposite way, you know, as quickly as possible. So, yeah.
To be consistent, remember, be accountable to somebody.
Yeah.
If you want to make it, again, easier for yourself, tell somebody what your exercise was every day. And tell them, if I don't text you my exercise, you should text me and say, hey, what'd you get done today? You know, be accountable. Or work out with somebody. That's, boy.
Or even, I would say even if you're not exercising every day, you know, shoot it to them at once a week. I worked out 4 times this week or 3 times this week or whatever. That's okay.
Find somebody wants to do a similar thing as you right now.
Yeah.
And say this. We are going to take a picture of everything we eat and send it to each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you're going to be like, I want to eat that, but I don't want to send it. And be honest, everything we eat, and that can be a plate or a snack or whatever, it just means I'm sending a picture. And sometimes that's okay. I mean, it doesn't always have to be perfect. But it's the accountability thing of, You know, I said this is what I wanted, and we're gonna keep each other the best we can on track.
Yeah,
because it's hard.
it is hard. Start with the things that are the easiest, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, let's keep being consistent. Keep adding in some things.
Yep.
See where we find ourselves come summer.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! I know it's going back to there's snow in the forecast. I'm so sad. You're just shaking your head.
Yeah, it's painful because
It
we
is.
just played a baseball tournament yesterday and it was 84 degrees, 85 degrees, which is just it's never happened in the spring.
We were talking about this. This is
And it's going to snow tomorrow.
This kind of thing that happened yesterday. It's kind of, they call it the spring fling. And there's literally been years that we've shoveled ice off of the track on this morning. So to have it be so nice is just...
Yep.
You know what? It's just a little bit of this is what's to come. It's a little peek of that. And it makes me so happy. So, all right, you guys. You can do it. Be consistent. Be proud of yourself for being consistent. We don't give ourselves enough credit for doing the mundane things day after day because they definitely add up. So
Get help if you can't do it yourself.
we'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still here after all these years, after all these tears I shed.